So I'm very honoured to continue footwear manufacturing in Lancashire. My father was a furniture manufacturer in Lancashire, so I kind of grew up with the sounds and smells of factory, and he eventually sold that business, and I kind of missed the noises, the banging, the smells of the factory. So part of this mission of Lanx was for me to sort of, I guess, subliminally in my head, was to bring that back. The history of manufacturing in Lancashire footwear is so rich, and to sort of bring a small part of that back, try and inspire other brands to make shoes and make product in Lancashire. We work with and partner with lots of other bag manufacturers, wallets, hats, scarves. So we're very proud to support a network, and I'm privileged to work with a great team here and who are doing great things. My name is Marv. I am the founder of Lanx. We are a shoe company based in the very beautiful Ribble Valley countryside. We're in a small village in Whalley, and it's a beautiful part of the world. We're very proud to make shoes here. We're very proud to work with other British shoe manufacturers, and we are extremely proud to have this brand and very privileged to keep shoe manufacturing going in Lancashire. Lancashire has a very, very rich shoe manufacturing history. We are based just on the outskirts of the Rossendale Valley here in the Ribble Valley. And Rossendale once had sort of 200 shoe factories, as did the sort of surrounding areas. So in addition to Northamptonshire in the south of England, the north of England's brother to sort of shoe manufacturing is Lancashire. Unfortunately, that's very much died out. There's only 2 or 3 factories now making shoes in Lancashire, us being one of them. And the history is amazing in and around Lancashire. Reebok, a world famous brand, was once founded in Lancashire around Bolton and Bury. So very, very famous roots and ones that we want to aspire to create ourselves. So I knew a little bit about footwear manufacturing and the industry prior to launching Lanx. I had the privilege of working for another shoe brand in the Rossendale Valley, not too far from here. I worked in the marketing department, and I was hooked from day one, walking through the doors, the old building. They didn't manufacture there anymore, but it was an old shoe factory building. There's lots of heritage through the Rossendale Valley, and it just gripped me from the day I drove through and saw all the old names and the old factories. So working in a shoe brand, I learned a bit about where to source leathers, where manufacturing took place, how sort of QC and those sorts of things happen. So I worked there for about 9 months, loved it, and then left and sort of slowly but surely started to create the Lanx brand in the background. Lanx came to be from essentially an adventure that I had, 6 months adventure around the world. Me and my girlfriend just set off, packed our bags. She had the itch to go travelling. I had the itch to learn how shoemaking took place and where it took place. So that combination was quite good. So she'd kind of sit on a beach and I'd go off on my scooter and look for factories. So we went to Cambodia, India, Indonesia, China. So we spent 6 months. I probably visited over 100 factories around Asia and just got a real good understanding of how shoes were made, where they were made, what was good, what was bad. But the most inspiring place that I visited was Japan, a little suburb called Asakusa, and I met some fantastic shoemakers there that really inspired me to understand what craft and quality was. So that journey of 6 months was what sort of got things going. And then when I got back to the UK, started having to come up with designs myself and names. And obviously we're based in Lancashire, and Lanx is sort of a shortened version of that. So that's the sort of very quick history of where the Lanx name came from and the start. The culture between looking at manufacturing in Asia to here is worlds apart, of course. So overseas, I went in factories that might have 1,000 people working in them, to backstreet factories with 3 or 4, so there was everything in between. The factories that are now in the UK, of which there's maybe 30, 40 around the UK, so not many, were of a similar nature to some of the factories that I saw overseas. They're making the most beautiful shoes you've ever seen, like in Japan, in Asakusa, and some were making some of the cheapest, worst shoes. So for me, it was just a great adventure to see what was good, what was bad, and bring all that knowledge back to the UK, combine it with sort of learning about the history of Lancashire and the heritage here, and also going to see and work with some of the UK factories as well. So it's a bit of a mishmash of all those things. Lancashire is famous for all kinds of shoes, but in particular, the Rossendale Valley had a nickname called Slipper Valley. So it was exceptionally famous for slippers, but it was also very famous for making women's footwear as well in the Rossendale Valley, less so on the men's footwear. And of course, Reebok, the world-renowned famous trainer brand, was the roots of that were in and around Lancashire, in Bolton and Bury. So I think if you could point to one shoe, it's probably the Reebok Classic with its British flag on, made in Lancashire. So very much a sort of standard bearer for what a Lancashire shoe is capable and of where a brand could go in terms of size. The hallmarks of a good quality shoe, and it's very simple, is leather. A shoe can be beautifully made and beautifully designed, but if you don't have the best leather, then unfortunately that shoe won't last a lifetime. We're very privileged to have Leeds Tannery Charles Stead on our doorstep, so we work very closely with them, as we do with a number of leather suppliers in South America or France or around Europe. So very much the leather is the important part. Then I would say the upper design and the shape of the shoe. Again, you can have all these great ideas, but if you don't get the shape of the shoe right, then everyone sort of turns their nose up at it and doesn't like it. So essentially, you get those things right and you make them correct, shoes should last a lifetime. And we're very proud here at Lanx to have our own in-house repair and restoration centre. So the team through the doors here can repair shoes. So if customers want to look after them, they will last a lifetime. And we're very happy and privileged to do that service. Some of the key design features of what makes the Lanx shoe so great. I've got one of our best sellers here, the Grindleton from our Craftsman collection. So we've got what we call the Lanx shoe DNA. So if you're wandering around the streets, you can spot a Lanx shoe from the heel tab at the back, the beautiful Lancashire rose, which we've trademarked, which is our brogue design, and a number of other features, as well as the sole unit. We've got the British white bull on the sole with the orange sole. So orange is our sort of koi is our secondary colour. The British white bull is a very famous breed of animal. So the British white bull originates from Whalley in Lancashire. And interestingly, King James something or other knighted a piece of steak on his visit to the local area, loin of steak, and that comes from the British white, and that's where the word sirloin steak comes from. So there's a few key features, the Lancashire rose on the back as well. So there's a bit of a Lanx DNA throughout all the collection, and all the different designs have got different features which make a Lanx shoe what it is. My influences and the team's influences here at Lanx are very much sort of deep-rooted in classic British designs, and very much sort of connected to the sort of country wear, country design. We're based here in the Ribble Valley in the countryside. We do 20 country shows all around the UK. So all our customer base has sort of, they either live in the countryside or they sort of like spending time in the countryside. So all our designs, whether it's the Vibram Outdoors collection or our Craftsman or our Steads collection, they've all got to match that aesthetic to the countryside, and that's kind of what we base most of our designs around.